What's the single most important item in your home that has a value of 1 or less? The book that my grandma used to read to me. It's worthless. Wasn't even listed on Goodreads until I added it. But she died in 2005, the day after my 8th birthday, and remembering her voice reading it is one of the clearest memories I have. Would definitely save it in a fire. My collection of old dog tags, literally dogs. I have all my 4-legged dog tags since I was 9. I'm 54 now. I have it in my will to be buried with ease. A rock shaped like a heart. My fiance and I took a trip to Poland and Greece. I bought her a heart-shaped rock from a salt mine in Poland, didn't cost one. But at a red sand beach in Greece 4 days later, she found a rock that was shaped perfectly like a heart. This one was free. Both rocks now sit next to each other in our house we just bought. Also, one rock is dark and the other red. I so happen to have red hair, and she has dark hair. She found the red heart rock for free, and I bought the salt rock. A ratty teddy bear passed down from my much older brothers to me. Is the only item I have that survived my insane childhood. Sounds like he makes a great balloon. A matchstick. I had a door that was sagging in my house due to the screw over time wearing a larger hole in the wall. And after some research I found a tip that shoving a matchstick with the tip broken off inside and a dab of glue could make the hole smaller. That matchstick was worth its weight in gold. So about $1. After it helped me fix a huge annoyance. One time, about 5 years into our relationship, my girlfriend, now wife, and I were in separate rooms in our 1-bedroom apartment in early December. From the other room, she hollered to me, "What do you want for Christmas?" I had been working full-time, taking part-time university classes to finish my degree, and had been volunteering as part of a youth mentor program. So I said all I really want is a break. 3 weeks later, I'm unwrapping a very heavy show box. After getting through the mountain of duct tape and several layers of wrapping paper, I had my very own brick. "I really didn't understand what you wanted it for," she said, "but you sounded so sure of it. So here you go." Cue about 10 minutes of laughs, and now that brick sits proudly on my desk. Every time I'm overwhelmed or feeling like I've taken on too much, I look at it, pick it up, have a little laugh, and put it back so I can carry on. Best gift ever. A best brother in the world pin from my brother who passed away. He gave it to me when he was 6. Undefined. My son found a rock on the way home from school in kindergarten. We were walking home through this park we always cut through, and he grabbed the rock and fell in love with it. It just looked like mud to me, but who cares, he loved it. When we got home I helped him wash it off in the sink, and it was black and kinda bluish. He said it was awesome, and then gave it to me. It's one of my most precious things in the world to me. I have a $1 bill saved and put away in a drawer. The significance behind it is it was my last dollar before I decided to stop gambling and doing hard drugs. I had to stop cold turkey. I was so flippin' done being a half human or an empty shell. At first it was just $1 that sat in my center console in my car. I would look at it and be reminded what I was doing. I've been sober for well over a year now. I feel like that one is special. I know in Narcotics Anonymous they get something saying how long they've been sober or whatever. That one is my token. My token for fighting a silent battle that I cannot share with people, otherwise I could lose my job. I have a church organ in my house that I got for free when a church in another state couldn't find an organist and gave up the organ. I minored in music in college, and I'm an organist, so it's probably the most important less than one item I own. Wow. Church organs are big things. Where do you put all the pipes? How did you get it into your house? I have so many questions. There's a picture of my wife and I with our adopted daughter. The picture was taken when she was around 13 or so, but we didn't adopt her until she was 16. When we took, it was just us and a kid we kind of knew from church. It's so cool to look back on and see how far we've come. Undefined. Handwritten letters from my grandmother who passed away a few years ago. While it is sad to see her handwriting get progressively worse for each letter at the end, it is nice to have something that was that close to her. I have them stored in a small box and it always goes into our evacuation bag during fire season. When I was a very small kid and we were very poor, my parents bought me a small teddy bear. That teddy bear is now more than 20 years old, but is the most precious gift I have. I got this complimentary little webcam cover that slides back and forth over the camera lens on my laptop. It saved me from making a fool of myself on Zoom many times now. The broken glass outside my window reminding me why I left my ex. I have an old kitchen knife that's probably worth like 25 cents. But through some mysterious power of the universe it cuts better than any knife I've ever used. Meats, veggies, bread, cheese. It doesn't matter. This thing glides through it all with ease and has never been sharpened. Easily my most important kitchen item. Undefined. Nail file with the bit that gets the grit out of your nails. I have to take pills for tension headaches or I can barely function. I get really dizzy. One pill costs $1. So when a tension headache flares up and I'm dizzy and sick feeling, there is no better dollar spent than on that pill. A single post-it note folded into a paper airplane with the words, "Will you be my boyfriend?" And 2 check boxes labeled yes and yes. He's my husband now. It's a red envelope that used to contain 20. I kept the envelope because I got it from my boyfriend's grandmother. She's from China and these red envelopes are given to children/family during holidays and important events. When my boyfriend's parents and grandparents moved out of his childhood home, she gave out 3 envelopes. One for my boyfriend, one for my boyfriend's sister, and one for me. This symbolized her accepting me as part of the family. I cried a bit after she gave it to me and I got a hug from her. I don't have grandparents and have a really rough relationship with my mom, so this meant a lot. I feel like a part of his family and am so happy for that. Undefined. Dad's straw gardening hat. It's torn and worn. But he died 2 years ago and it reminds me of him when I wear it. I have a heart-shaped rock that is about the size of a quarter. My son gave it to me when he was 3 and told me to keep it forever. I have it in my back pocket daily. The Donovan. It's a $1 bill with a picture of ex-UF basketball coach Billy Donovan taped over the president. It was a single dollar a friend and I would pass back and forth, that we would bet on different things. It's a trophy we have passed back and forth over the last 20 years. It's an item that has kept us in touch. My dog Ziggy. I found him in a box outside of a liquor store. He was 6-week pit bull covered on mange. I took him home, bathed him twice a day every day for weeks to get the mange to go away. 4 years later he's the best boy, with a full beautiful coat. I got this one for free, so I'm just gonna say this one. A piece of clay. The clay specifically has my dead cat's paw print in it, so I'd say I can answer this with the clay. A tiny paper crane a Japanese grandmother gave me when I was in Osaka at a museum. She worked there and was waiting for tourists to come play an educational board game with her. She got no interest, obviously. I reluctantly sat down and played after she caught me on my own with a smile and a beckoning wave. Even though we couldn't speak each other's language and I kept messing up, she was so kind to me. So happy that I sat with her. She made me deal with my impatience and sit with the distress I was feeling that day by slowing me down and making me do something plain and simple. When we were done, she gave me a tiny paper crane from the pile she had made to give to all the tourists that should have sat with her and didn't. It made me really sad and really happy I'd met her, and I hope she's doing well. On the 4th of July, my sister and dad found a kitten in our barn. He was tiny and looked like he was on death's front door. He ended up losing most of his hair and had to go through several rounds of antibiotics. Today, he's a happy, healthy, and spoiled boy. His hair grew back, and he has such a silly personality. We are so thankful we found Alec that day. He adds so much spice to our life and plays and cuddles with our pit mix. To us he's priceless. But he was free when we found him. Undefined. I have one of the bullet casings from my grandfather's military funeral from the 21 gun salute. I don't really know its value, but I got it for free. My mother, cousins, aunts/uncles, and I on that side of the family each received one. I've been working from home, and as my employer, like many others, are soul-sucking demons not fit for this earth. They track you in just about every way possible, because it's simply inconceivable to think people would just do the work they're paid to do, regardless of the setting they're in. If I don't interact with the computer for more than 5 minutes it registers me as away. Heavens forbid I have to poop or something. I got spoken to the very first week of WFH and told you have to be available during work hours by a supervisor who is seemingly never available, but was blind to the irony I guess. In any event, I found that if you navigate to a certain portion of our 1970s software you can endlessly type. I promptly went outside and found a rock which now holds down my space bar for me anytime I need to walk away for a minute. That rock is, in my eyes, now one of the most important objects in my world, and it was free. One specific screw. It has emotional significance. During our first official date with my GF, I got a flat tire because of that random screw. I had never changed a tire before in my life, and I was afraid I'd make a fool of myself in front of her. But it all worked out well, and she was super impressed. Next day, when I took my car to the shop to patch the hole, I asked them to return me the screw, just for the happy memory. My glasses were free with my insurance, so they are definitely the most important thing in my house. Cheesecloth. It's one of those items that cost next to nothing, and you never think you'll use. But my god do I use a lot of cheesecloth. My journal. It would probably either be my own life or those cheap charging cables that you can buy in convenience stores. My antidepressants. Free prescriptions baby. It's probably not as good as other people's, but I think that mine would be my cat's collar. I got it at a Dollar Tree, and I think he looks very handsome, and it's a good way of telling people that he's got an owner. Before he had a collar, I've been worried that people would try to take him, thinking he's a stray. The collar is getting a bit worn now, because, yeah no, Dollar Tree, so I think soon I'll upgrade it. But for now, I'm grateful for that sparkly red collar. My now husband and I went on our first date which was supposed to be coffee and ended up being a 7 hours amazing chat session. My husband is not super affectionate or sentimental. Recently I found his parking meter receipt from that date. My daughter made me a pencil holder out of a soup can and construction paper that looks like a cat. It's been on my desk for 20 years. She's long gone from the house living her life, but every time I look at it, I see the 9-year-old that made it. My parents' love letters. This was an arranged marriage and I loved to search for stuff. When I was young came through those, and they were the sweetest, awkwardest and cutest things ever. You could feel the shyness and new love blossoming. My dad has since conveniently hidden them once again.